Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is the next installment in the flip and discussion about this very cheap Artist Loft journal. The first video talks about how I add watercolor washes to these pages as a prepared background, so I'm not dealing with white paper when I come to a particular spread. Basically, I make sure that, the book stays underweight, so I just put a couple of heavy books on top of it overnight, and the buckling is not too bad. So you can look at my YouTube channel for that video, and I'll keep the link down below. The second video is a flip through of the journal before Inktober, so the journal from June through October. As I said in that video, I have probably 7 or so journals going at the same time each year, so it takes me a while to fill any one particular book. And you can see that video on my YouTube channel, and I will put a link to that down below as well. So this is video number 3, which is Inktober. So Jake Parker runs this program on YouTube every year, or this challenge every year called Inktober, basically helping you to hone your skills with pen and ink. Some people use, all kinds of material. There's prompts for every day of the month, or every day of the month. And what I do is ignore the prompts because I'm not skilled enough to think about what I'm going to sketch that is prompt appropriate. So I just ignore the prompts, and what I focus on doing is making sure that I practice my pen and ink, making sure that I'm trying to teach myself something I didn't know at the beginning of the month. So these are the Inktober pages. Every one of them has got, again, this watercolor wash in the background, and I specifically kept myself limited to just pen and ink. There's a video on my channel that will show you some of the art travel supplies that I use. Go ahead and take a look at that. And so I'm using essentially markers, some Marvy Artist markers, and I have a bunch of cheapo markers. All right, so these are the markers that I'm using. In terms of ink, I primarily used my Lamy Safari with the fine nib using carbon black ink. That's primarily the pen that I use. Now, I also found that highlighters work really well. They don't cost a lot of money. I happen to have a bunch of them lying around. Hold on a second. Let me just go get that. So here we go. We've all got stashes of pens lying around. These are Sharpie flip chart markers. I've had several questions about this, and they are left over from some job, some project. They work great. Okay, so I go ahead, I use these. I also find, as I said earlier, that highlighters work incredibly well. They tend not to do as much bleed through as some of the other markers. I don't use alcohol markers as well. I just don't have the paper to be able to handle that in this sketchbook. And I don't believe I have any alcohol markers anyway. So these are the kinds of things that I use, is just, the cheap markers. I think there's some Crayola ones in here as well that got used. But anyway, that's my marker stash. So that's literally all the supplies you will see in here that it was used in the Inktober, as well as a Jelly Roll white pen if I want to add any white highlights. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. So going through it, again, I wanted to start with an Edward Gorey sketch. I'm really trying to figure out how to get texture to show up without it looking, here's the question. There's a difference between a shadow and texture, right? Shadow and a crease. How do you make it look like shadow versus a crease? That's one of the things that you'll see all month long that I've been playing with, is how to actually make that happen. So, how to capture that so that it effectively looks like either a shadow or a crease. So, inspired by Edward Gorey, I found this image somewhere on Pinterest, I think, or Google. I just like the idea of, always wear your invisible crown. Oh, someone else had asked me about this. These stamps, the stamp dates throughout this month are with this office stamp. That is a simple date stamp that comes from office supply stores. I picked this up at Staples. It's $4, right? I happen to have an old ink pad. This is over 20 years old and surprisingly refuses to die. So those are the supplies that the date is actually stamped on every single one of these spreads. Another Edward Gorey. Again, these are those Sharpie markers or the flip chart markers. And here's the blue for highlighter. The color was back in the background, just kind of playing with, capturing something in the day. I've realized that I will never understand fashion, but anyway, there was something intriguing about this particular fashion choice, and so I was just capturing it for the day. One of the things I realized is when you don't use prompts, okay, there's pros and cons to it. This sketch tried giraffes. Yeah, they all look like they had mustaches or something. It did not work. So I took some notes on why it didn't work. I'm going to go back and spend some time playing with giraffes, but this one was not it. So this does not get posted. If you follow me along on Instagram or my blog, you will see every one of the Inktober ones posted, and this in this series is the only one that did not get posted. I decided to just turn the page and do that date over. Again, as I was saying, one of the things about not having prompts is trying to figure out what you're going to sketch every day. I've done Inktober. This is my second year now, and that is one of the things that I'm running into is what am I sketching? That's actually harder than it's, some days it's easy. Some days I just have an idea and I'm like, I know exactly what I want to do today. And other days I just don't have an idea. So then I'm basically, trying to look through Pinterest or look at my feeds to see if anything, captures my attention. For example, this is one of those days. Salman Rushdie's book is on my list of books to read. I happen to like this quote by him. I think this image comes from the is it the Bookmarks magazine or some magazine my library has, and I said, okay, perfect, done, right? So therein lies part of the problem with not having a theme. So this is an example of, these people on stilts. My sister posted a picture of these people in Austin at some fair, and since I had nothing going on that day in terms of an idea, that's what I decided to sketch. So going forward, I think one of the things I will be thinking about is what do I want the theme to be? So this is inspired by my kitchen towel. Literally, I'm not kidding you. When I cannot come up with an idea, I walk around the house hoping something will call to me. And my kitchen towel at the time on the oven has got these pieces in it. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So coming up with the theme, I think, is a good idea because it just makes things easier. Otherwise, I'm just searching for things to be inspired by. The whole Me Too meme that went around this quarter. I mean, this has been in many ways a difficult and trying time, but let's not get into politics on this video. I love the dress. I just love the stenciling on that dress. So sometimes, like I said, an idea will come to me. Literally had no idea. I was out for a walk, picked up 2 leaves. I drew the leaves. I did not even put a shadow in. I just was like, done. Let's move on. I know I don't have a plan, right? One of the things I'm thinking about as I was doing Inktober is I realized I tend to draw things or people without their background environment. I don't know really how to do environment sketching. So something else that I learned that I need to think about. So I was trying some environment. Well, I'm not sure that worked, but anyway, that's why there's all this stuff in the background. Some days, you sketch something and you call it done. Again, going to museums is great because, there's so much inspiration. So this is from Kuniyoshi. He was doing artist caricatures or actor caricatures, and the MFA had a bunch of his sketches. So that's what that was. Again, just using the background silhouettes. I never understand why we don't have cool hats for adults and kids have hats that look this cool. So I was into hats, and so I saw a couple of hats that I liked and I was sketching those. Just playing with mustaches, right? So again, as you can see, there's no theme in my Inktober. I was just drawing whatever either caught my attention or grasping for ideas on any particular day, and might have to rethink that idea for next time. But I did do, on the plus side, I did a sketch every single day and posted one every single day onto my Instagram account. So in that respect, by the way, this is one of my favorite things, right? I just love this one. So in that respect, this Inktober was another success for me, just like last year was. I make it a priority, get the sketch done every day, get it posted. You know, having that need to post something, you know, helps drive me. And here's my last one. I decided to, you know, sketch some of the African masks I saw at the museum. So there you go. That's the second sketch. So this is my Inktober section right here. Okay. I loved it. I love doing it every year. I learn something every year. I learn about what I want to work on for next year, or even just going forward. There are some pages, like always, that I like better than others. And, you know, maybe I'll do something. I was thinking about making cards with some of them when I send out to friends. They'd be kind of fun. So some images I like better than others. Some sketches I like better than others. But overall, doesn't matter. Those many pages got done. Flip the page. Start over. Okay, so that was my Inktober section of the book. I've got these many pages left, and my goal is to try and complete them, hopefully by the end of this month. Let's see if that works. And then I can go on to another sketchbook that has hopefully better paper. I mean, I have them. I just, for some reason, decided I want to work in this book this year. So that's all I have for right now. Stay tuned for the video for this piece of it. It'll take a little longer for me to release that one or film that one, because I need to fill out these pages first. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section down below. And thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. And if you would like to see flips of my other videos, my other journals that I showed in one of my previous videos, let me know and I will get to that as well. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.